Shalom. Kol Halo Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakah HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. The would-be judges, the tabernacle of David, the 144,000 to 1,000 men from the 12 tribes of Israel who are to be the new government on earth, ruling over all the nations. All the hills and the mountains will bow down to the power of heaven, in heaven as it is in earth, right? Heaven will be here on earth with the Israelites ruling, with King David at the helm, all right? Directed and controlled by who the world fraudulently and falsely called JC. His name is Yahweh Shai. The Father's name is Yahweh. And to the rest of the scattered Israelites that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, among the heathens, among the Gentile nations, and also have the appearance of the Gentile nations, many of our people, a huge portion of our people. All right, read Revelation 7 and 9. Those are Israelites, that mixed multitude, because they were scattered. And that's why John couldn't recognize them. Okay, until the Lord restores them to their into their former self, to their former glory. And to the few Akwaf, meaning the sisters, that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth, profiling 2 videos. This one from Hawks Podcast, and then another one from Vlad TV, that guy Nicholas, that Jake, who was a former sniper. I don't know if he was a Marine sniper or Army sniper, but he was a sniper in the U.S. military. All right. And so I'm going to read the Copyright Disclaimer Act. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is use permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Now, this video right here has been stitched quite a few times already. People celebrating the thought of the little dickless Nazi. Stephen Miller is what they're calling him. The short dickless Nazi is what he's being referred to on the internet. And I'm not calling him that. I call him something much worse. Actually, I just call him by what he actually is: an Edomite, an imposter, a poser, posing as the, as one of the people of the Lord. He's an Edomite. And in this video, I'm gonna play it. A majority of it. It's only like a 5-minute video, and he's talking about the prison sentence for Stephen Miller and people like him. Truth of the matter is, the entire Edomite race is going into prison. The kingdom of heaven is at hand, and they're going back to becoming the base of mankind. They're going back to being below low. All right, they were only raised up as punishment to the Lord's chosen. All right, that he took the lowest denominator of men and elevated them. This is why they uphold Alexander of Macedon, because through Alexander of Macedon, the Edomite people became a world power for the first time. All right, and were lifted up from that base man position that they held, and as punishment to the Lord's chosen, he put the worst of his creation above all people. Twice. All right. The fourth beast, we're in the last leg of the fourth beast. The fourth beast was Rome, Greece and Rome, which rose through Alexander of Macedon, and he lifted up Esau, Edom, who now, after different names throughout the millenniums, now refer to themselves as white people. All right, I've done 1,000 videos on the change of their names and who they were throughout history. And they were that red dragon that was wounded but yet did live. That was when Rome fell, when Rome went from being the pagan Roman Empire to the Holy Roman Empire, when Negroes, not Africans, because they'll say, you know, they won't talk about it unless you ask, and they'll mention the African rulers of Rome. Then, you know, you can find it, but you'll never see it on the History Channel though. But you can definitely find it on the internet and articles and in books and things of that nature. But they're not going to broadcast it, all right, because that messes up their narrative. But it's documented history, so they can't avoid it. So they, you know, they just make it real small. But they weren't Africans. They were actually Israelites, because that's the false narrative that Esau Edom, self-proclaimed so-called white man, he pushes that everyone is chocolate in nature came from Africa, and every person that's brown came from Asia. And that's, first of all, there's no such thing as black people. Even the people in Africa are still chocolate brown. And there are people in Asia that were just as dark, and in some cases still as dark and darker than some Africans. You got people in India and even people in Far East Asia that are just as dark as some, you know, as some so-called Negroes and some Africans. All right. So Esau has definitely pushed that false narrative, but Esau came into power again. All right. During the Renaissance, and during the Renaissance is when Edomite supremacy, white supremacy was pushed. When Psalms 83 was implemented. All right, when they went to go and let's read that real quick. This is Psalms 83. You know, when the tumult, this is Psalms 83:2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. All right. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Because see, in all the prior captivities, prior to the Renaissance, the Negroes, Latinos, and natives knew who they were. All right. During the last leg of the Roman Empire, when Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, came back into power, he completely hid the history of the Dark Ages and the medieval times, painted himself, all right, and made himself the people of the Lord while hiding who the people of the Lord really were. As a matter of fact, I have a couple screenshots that I've added to the evidence folder from Apostle Gabar's video from an AI conversation. And one of them is this. It says, he asked some questions. And this was one of them. It says, European origins. As Christianity spread across Europe, artists began portraying, Yahushua, they call him Jesus, in their own image. During the Renaissance, influential artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo established the European depiction of Christ became dominant. What that means is that he wasn't white. He became white. We've been telling you this. The apostles been telling you this for 4 decades. All right. This it said, so the next one was colonial power. Colonialism and power. The white image of Yahushua was exported worldwide through European colonialism and missionary work. This created a visual association between whiteness and divinity, which is used to justify racist hierarchies and oppression in its colonialized lands, and still is to this day. So what AI was informing you of is what we've been telling you all along, that these people, they started calling themselves white because you notice it said European. They even made the European up. There wasn't a portion of Asia called Europe until the Esau Edom came into power. The whole European thing, Eurasia thing, is just another fabricated lie by the so-called white man in his fraudulent philosophy to create a homeland to pretend that he came from. All right, and to throw everyone off. Just like he created Yiddish and uses a language that uses Hebrew characters, but it's not really Hebrew. Okay? Evidence, receipt, incoming. Eurasian. Okay? This is from the Oxford 1850 dictionary. It says, definition number 1, of or pertaining to Eurasia in Europe and Asia considered as forming in reality, all right, Europe and Asia considered as forming in reality one continent. One continent. And I wouldn't be shocked if this video is shaken and distorted, because that's what they've been doing with my videos as of lately, as going back to this Saturday. Because it's clear right now, but when it plays later, it'll be distorted, especially as I put up receipts and evidences proving the historical lies and the lies that they still uphold to this day to hold their position. So any further ado, let's play some of this video from Hawk.
There are a lot of people right now across the United States who are doing amazing work. It's like they're protesting at ICE facilities in the cities where that's going on. They are following ICE vehicles. They are following.
Just watch the guy, on his motorcycle following and filming and harassing ICE, and ICE is being exposed. And what they're doing is they are breaking the law of the land.
ICE agents when they're walking on their way to work without their masks on, and they're posting these videos. And I just wanted to say something to these ICE agents. A couple of years ago, well, a little more than a year ago, year and a half ago, the United States Supreme Court put out a decision granting immunity to the President of the United States for criminal acts that he commits while in office. The Supreme Court provided him with immunity, or her, from prosecution for those criminal acts after they leave office. The Supreme Court under John Roberts invented that out of literally nothing. It's not in the Constitution. It's not in a statute anywhere. This Supreme Court that is packed with Trump taint sniffers invented presidential immunity out of literally nothing. But as it relates to ICE agents and to people like Stephen Miller and Kristi Noem and Tom Homan and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and everybody else in the executive branch who is doing Donald Trump's bidding, the Supreme Court gave immunity for criminal prosecution to the president. The Supreme Court did not give immunity from criminal prosecution to you,
Ooh.
ICE agents.
Wow.
Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Tom Homan. The Supreme Court did not give immunity from criminal prosecution to any of you. And as we've seen, Donald Trump is now prosecuting his former national security advisor, John Bolton. So working in his administration is not enough to avoid criminal prosecution.
Yep.
He can pardon all of you from federal charges. But you're all doing things at the state level too, ICE agents, Stephen Miller. Can you even imagine how fucking amazing it is going to be 3.5 years from now when we get to watch on live television when that dickless, naked mole rat Nazi Stephen Miller gets arrested?
Hawk, tell us how you really feel. All right. This is Colossians 3:25. because the general public are really angry, and these Edomites are really hateful toward each other. And the truth of the matter is, all the nations are about to be judged and go into prison for 1,000 years upon the return of the Lord, as the end of Esau Edom reign is over. All the nations that helped him and stood by him, that are turning on him, and that are going to come against him, all right. And still, in the end, when this war and this civil war, this worldwide free-for-all Royal Rumble happens, the Lord is coming back to whoop everybody. All right. Lord's going to come down out of the heavens and drop the people's elbow on everybody. Clear the ring. Okay. This is Colossians 3:25. And it reads, knowing that but he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he have done. There is no respect of person. So America is not going to last long enough for these prosecutions to come, that are definitely will come if it does. But if you're taking into account the time that we're in, okay, man is not going to have time to put forth its own justice toward these people. Though it would be nice to see that little short, bald, racist piece of, get embarrassed and shamed, snatched out of his house, away from his family and everything, and go to prison for breaking the law of the land. Okay? Close this blind because the sun is starting to come up. Bringing that Salaki. Trying to bring that glare on the screen. Alright? Salakia. Yeah, and I wouldn't be shocked if Esau distorts it anyway. But Esau Edom is being exposed. All right? And shameful spewing is being, upon his glory. Let's get that real quick. This is the book of Habakkuk. It's 2:16. And it reads, thou art filled with shameful glory. Thou shalt also let thy foreskin be uncovered, and Yahweh's right hand, which is Yahweh, shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be upon thy glory. And that's exactly where we're at, and that is exactly what's happening. All right? But, and then let's get that 2 Thessalonians. Let me read verses, chapter 2, 3, verse 3 through 8. And it reads, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. That falling away was the Israelites losing their heritage, being scattered. All right? The scattering of the Israelites, and then and Esau Edom stepping in and saying with the whole Psalms 83 tumult, that confederacy, to hide who we are and claim that they were us. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple, showing himself that he is God. We just read the receipts from AI telling you that Esau Edom painted himself to be the Lord and the Lord's people, and took the Lord's image and made it look like him instead of his dark chocolate appearance of that is biblically sound. All right, the Bible describes the Israelites, the angels in heaven, the Father on the throne. It describes them as being swarthy, dark chocolate in nature, with woolly afros, with woolly hair. That's what the Bible says. But they, just painted images that look, Hawk's not the most, handsome man, physically. Hawk's pretty much a pathetic specimen. And this is the image that they gave the Lord and the Lord's people. You know, to have stringy hair, pale skin. All right. And that's not what the Lord looked like at all, according to what's written in the Bible. But yet they distorted that and pushed that lie anyway. Okay. Esau, Edom did that. Jumping down to verse 8. Then shall the wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. The prophets have destroyed the lies of Esau, Edom. Like I said, my last two videos, the one that was done live on the streets, on the street ministry of Saturday, was distorted. And the one I did, not the one I did yesterday on I think it was a critical race theory. I did it. That one wasn't distorted as far as I know, but the live show, Malcolm, was distorted again. It seems like that's the channel they're attacking the hardest. All right, because it's live. Okay. No. I take that back. It was a GMS Maccabean Spirit. So they're doing it on multiple channels now. You know, they're I got the video, and when you watch it, it's something weird going on to where it's like flashing and blinking, and it'll make you want to click off of it. All right. So but it's still at, well, what they're saying is that it's at 3,600 views, but you know that they play with our numbers, and I'm willing to bet that more people have watched it than that, and they could and if they but that distortion will make people turn away. But things like that are only to turn away those that the Lord doesn't want, because someone who's really into the information, they'll just listen. But if you try to look at their screen, it'll drive you nuts. But that's evidence in itself that they're trying to hide. So without any further ado, let's play the next video from Vlad TV of the former sniper, Nicholas Irving. All right, and this is a heavy video. I'm gonna play like the first 5 minutes of it and read a couple scriptures. And remember, copyright statutes has been declared.
Out multiple airstrikes.
Oh,
on Venezuela.
Yeah.
On Venezuelan vessels.
Yeah, them fishing boats.
Wait, and they haven't been Venezuelan vessels. So even though this is being reported, by Perez, he's talking about it. These were Trinidadian boats, and as a matter of fact, he killed a whole family, from what I understand, from Trinidad, of fishermen, a whole family of men. All right, so they got some splaining to do.
Yeah. I think they hit about 3 or 4 now, 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Wow.
Mhm.
I saw 2.
Yeah.
I saw 2 get hit. And I saw a colorized version too.
I mean, U.S. is not playing.
No.
And these narcos, I don't know, man. Like Trump is serious about, you head this way with them boats.
Yeah.
And even if we think you got that stuff in it.
Trump needs to go after the CIA if that was the case. That's how your drug got into America. All you gotta do is watch Snowfall and watch many other documentaries have been done on it, and the movie Don't Kill the Messenger with Jeremy Renner. Your own government brought that in. The whole crack epidemic, all right? The war on drugs was all a fraud. He mentions it, but it was a fraud. It was a lie. They did it purposely and aimed it at the same communities that they're trying to destroy now, right? And it was also to fill up those private prisons. Then they influenced the music, changed, rap went from rapping about clocks and tennis shoes and radios to running the block and, getting rich, shooting your own brother, shooting your own sister, adultery, murder music. That's what it became. And now these clowns, after listening to that for 3 decades now, they're brainwashed into trying to live that lifestyle, filled up the prisons.
We dropping bombs from the air.
Yeah. Hey, that's the peaceful president, though. I don't know. That's the no more wars. It's not a war, but I mean, if you want to stop drugs coming into the country, it's going to take a lot more than that. One boat here, one boat here. I'm telling you, it's like a show of force. And that's what a term we use in the military. It's a show of force. Just to show what we can do so things don't escalate, so we don't really have to come spank that ass.
So you kill a few people.
I hope we don't. But drugs are going to get here. I mean, the whole war on drugs thing was a failure. It's going to continue to be a failure.
Fraud.
Because you can go on any back road in the trailer park or down in the country and find some meth and a chef to make it. So drugs are always going to be here. They're always going to be here.
No, they are. And there's no doubt about that. It's too much money in drugs.
Yep.
That's why the government now got their hand in weed.
I was about to say that exactly. Everybody's going to benefit from it. Everybody's going to benefit from it. The cartel and the government, our government, they're going to benefit from it too. And so will the defense contractors and Lockheed Martin and all those Boeing and all them. Yeah, everybody's going to benefit from it. Everybody's going to benefit from it. War is it's a money-making business. Killing is a money-making business.
Wow.
Very much so.
That's crazy. Killing is a money-making business.
You know, that's the hammer of the earth. Let me get that real quick. That's one of the ways that the hammer of the earth was able to finance its destruction. All right, through drugs, they were able to, send weapons to different places and declare war on people. Jeremiah 15:23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? So, and through that, its own policy and benefits, they've destroyed itself and its people. The Americans are a bunch of drug addicts and hooked on drugs, both legally and illegally.
Very much.
I don't know, brother. The more we talk, I mean, these conversations, they're always eye-opening. They're always great to have. But the more we talk, it just paints the future so damn dark, man.
Told you. I know it, bro. I'm telling you, I think the only cure for this is it's the forest analogy of the only way to clear a forest is to burn it down.
Scorched earth.
I'm not calling for that, but that's the only thing I can see that's going to happen. I don't think that we're all going to wake up one day, hold hands, and scream out kumbaya. I just don't, and everything is going to be fine. I don't believe that. There's a lot of anger built up. There's a lot of fire that's waiting to spread in America right now, and it needs a release. And the more pressure that builds up, the bigger the explosion is going to be. I think that's where we're at now. Nothing's going to politics are too corrupt. They're not hiding it anymore. We all see it. We just have
Esau is showing his true colors, and he's beyond racist. He's not hiding it anymore. All right? We're almost to wisdom of Solomon when he said, let our strength be the law of justice. Not the law itself, but our strength. I can bomb your boats. I can shoot lasers from you from the sky and burn down your cities and your forests. All right? What I say is what's right, or is the law. Just to hell with the law of the land and what's right. What I say is what's right. And that's where we are with Esau Edom, this self-proclaimed white people.
What are we going to do? At this point, I think we're all waiting for that release. I think secretively, deep down, there's a large demographic within America that wants a civil war to happen. 100% believe that. And that's it's all about sides, man. The right one, the left one, it's about sides. And I think that there's a side, maybe both sides, but there's a large number of people out there that I think they really want a civil war. However they think that's going to, look, won't be pretty. It'll take me less time to adjust than it will the average person. I'm already there. I dream it every night.
Wow. So because why? He's one of those spirits created for vengeance. This guy's already bodied a lot of people. Okay, let's get that in Sirach. I think it's 39 and 40. I mean, not 39. There is no 40. Okay, give me a sec. Salakia. Yeah, it's 39:28. Sirach or Ecclesiastes 39:28. And it reads, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. With him is that sniper weapon. All right. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. All right. And that's people like him. He's one of those spirits that are created for vengeance.
In some ways, I'll just be back home.
Wow.
You sound like Rambo.
I hope not.
You sound like John Rambo. I'm like, yo.
No, so in a lot of ways, I'll just be back at home, man. I was most comfortable I've ever been was at war.
So if Rambo had a real face, wasn't a make-believe character, it would look a lot like this guy. This is Psalms 56 and 5. Thou shalt destroy them that speak leasing. Yahweh abhorred the bloody and deceitful man. So, these Edomites are very bloody and very deceitful, and they spill a lot of blood, man. And the Lord's going to destroy them outwardly, and he's going to use spirits of vengeance from among Jacob like this one to do it. All right? You should hear some of the interviews of this guy, And matter of fact, you probably got scolds of Edomite that plan on taking this guy out before anything starts, so they don't have to face him later. Because this is a dangerous individual here. And if he was to link up with any of his, former teammates, all right? Because I don't know if this guy was, if he was Force Recon or one of the, SEAL teams. I forget what he was, but all I know is that he was, a soldier of war, a sniper. This is Ezekiel 22 and 2. And it reads, now thou son of man, wilt thou judge the bloody city? Yeah, thou shalt show her all her abominations. So America's being put on blast, man. They've been shown for all the devilment they're doing, all the wickedness that they're doing, the murder, the unfairness, right? The cruelty toward Jacob, the blatant cruelty, and racism within people that are supposed to be upholders of the law and looking out for the best interests of the people, and they're just being hateful racists. But that's what Esau is, trying to hold on to their kingdom. When their time is up, the Lord assigned them a time, and they don't want their time to be up. All right, their time was up because Jacob's punishment is up. Jacob's at the end of his punishment. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow. What's the it that followeth? The kingdom of heaven, which will be here on earth. Last scripture, Jeremiah 51. And 19. The portion of Jacob is not like unto them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance, and Yahweh of hosts is his name. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, and with thee I will break in pieces the nations, and with thee I will destroy kingdoms. All right? And with thee I will break in pieces the horse and his rider. So they're war machines. Okay? And with thee I will break in pieces the chariot and his rider. So in a nutshell, you know, you could keep reading. 51 is a very powerful chapter, Jeremiah 51. But the Lord is bringing down Esau, Edom. All right. And he's going to use spirits of vengeance to do this. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the elect, when they get raised up, that wreak the havoc among the nations, beat them into powder. Along, you know, the Lord's going to beat them into power, and then set loose his elect on them. And the elect are going to put everyone into subjection and all the other nations into chains. So when Hawk was talking about Stephen Miller Stephen Miller is going to get annihilated, and he's going to wake up in the, well, actually, he may be considered among the elites. So the elites of Edom are going to be the first fruits of slavery, thus saith the Bible. All right. The elites of the Edomites, the wealthiest of them, because they're going to run to those bunkers and survive the destruction, and then the Israelites are going to come and pull them out of the caves of the rocks. All right, those bunkers. All right, so with that, all praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rekah HaKodash, Kwam Yasharala, Abba